Hello, friends. Happy New Year. Reverend Beth Simmons here with the first midweek moment of 2024 here in front of my Christmas tree, which is still up because it is still Christmas. It is still in the Christmas season until through Saturday. Saturday is Epiphany, which is the day that we celebrate the Magi's arrival to visit the Christ child. And hopefully, if you are near Hancock, you will join us at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon starting at the town library. We're doing a little bit slightly reimagined version of our familiar and enjoyed journey to Bethlehem, and we've shifted it to feature our fabulous Magi. And we're calling it the journey to the Magi. So we're going to travel from the library down Main Street, which will be illuminated with luminaries, and people are invited to bring a luminary of their own, a glowing star, and we are also borrowing some of the star lanterns from the Children in the Arts. From their lantern parade, so that we will have this lovely glowing procession. We have a star who will lead us. So the star will go first, the Magi will follow the star, and then we will follow the Magi and interact with some of the key characters from the story of the birth of Christ, and then end up at the meeting house, where folks will be invited for some refreshments and also to come up to the sanctuary where I will be. There will be a place to light a candle with a prayer or hope for the new year, and also to take a look at our lovely collection of nativity sets that we have in the church before we take them down and pack them away again as we move into this year. So in this vein, this recognition that this is the time of year we are celebrating a baby, I just got to thinking about one of Jesus's teachings from when he was an adult, which is that we are to love our enemies and forgive our enemies. And sometimes that can be really hard. I'm thinking especially given some of the massive turmoil and division that has been ongoing over the last few years in our country, and the destruction and devastation that has been going on in the last few months around the world. It is really, really easy to create an us and them scenario. It is really, really hard to forgive without either sort of just glossing over and saying, oh, well, we can't be angry at this person, or we can't bring justice because we're supposed to love. Justice is love. And but what it means is that we don't hate. We don't fill our hearts with the shadow of hate, and we don't in hating someone, we more than other them, we sort of objectify them and dehumanize them. And by loving them, we remember their humanity. And it got me thinking about the fact that all of these people, some people who have done and are doing terrible, horrible things, not treating others as human beings. They were once someone's baby. It's really hard to hate a baby. Perhaps that's why this story of Jesus' birth continued so long through the storytelling and the stories, because Jesus was so hated. by many. It's hard to hate a baby. Although there were those who, as we know, even in biblical stories, destroy babies in order to try to destroy communities. But when we look at the adults and who they've become, when we find it hard to love them, if we can just perhaps remember that at some point they were carried within the body of another person, that they were completely and totally vulnerable in the way that babies are, that hopefully at some point someone held them close and took a deep whiff of that unique baby smell, counted their little baby toes, marveled at the shape of their little ears, played peekaboo with them. Of course, we know not every baby is so loved and so cared for. That would be the ultimate goal and hope for the world. We know it's not so, but I can imagine that most of the people in power these days, at least a little bit, had some of that care and somebody who oohed and awed at them. And perhaps at some point in between those innocent, vulnerable baby days and where they are now, something happened. Something, maybe many things, that made them forget that they are deeply loved, that they are a child of God, along with everyone else on earth. And everyone else also somebody's baby. So as we get ready to conclude our celebrations of this baby who grew up to be someone who was worshipped and also hated, may we try our best to remember with everyone who we interact with or we hear about on the news or we struggle to love, there's somebody's baby. And if as a human child they were not loved by another human, they are certainly loved by God. They're still God's baby. If you're in a space, mental, spiritual, physical space to do so, will you join me in a prayer, time of reflection? Let's just take a moment to breathe first. Maybe the first deep breath you've taken since the beginning of this year. Mother, Father, Parent, God, how blessed we are to be your babies. To know that you have counted our fingers and toes and marveled at our noses and our necks and our ears and our elbows and counted all the hairs on our heads. And so help us, God. Shift our hearts and our minds that we might look at the people around us and around the world. And see them remember they were once a small, innocent baby, just like the Christ child. And perhaps even if we can't love them now because of who they've become, what they've done, we can love the baby that they once were. And offer our prayers, thoughts, and energy of loving kindness to that baby. That it somehow might shift and change the world as that one baby did so many years ago. Amen. Beloveds, have a wonderful rest of your week. I pray that this new year is expansive and healthy. And if not healthy, that you find healing and wholeness as much as possible. And love and peace. Be well, friends.